welcome to Magical Maidens Jewelry Tutorials. So today what I have for you is another holiday earring craft. It's actually going to be two different ones. And I'm using, and what you see here, and it has a crank, and I'm sorry I can't get everything in view. This room is quite crowded with my holiday stuff. And I'm using my Sizzix Big Shot die cutting machine and a die cut. Now, you could also do this freehand. And I'm going to show you all the items that I'm going to be using today in this craft. The first thing I'm using is some cardstock. I got some red cardstock and some silver. Now, I've also shown, if you've seen my other jewelry tutorials, I use some vinyl glitter mat. It's a vinyl glitter and it's a little thicker. So unfortunately the die cuts do not cut right through, but what it does do leaves a nice embossing impression. So it's like a template almost, and it kind of really deeply embosses, so you just have to cut along the shape. And it's so much easier because you already have the shape there if you don't mind freehand cutting. So they do have sharper ones, but these were a cheap set, about $8 on Amazon. You get 30 die cuts. I'll put the link below. I use the same die cuts in many other of my jewelry tutorials showing you my holiday stuff and my die cutting machine. Okay, so I'm using some silver glitter cardstock and some red glitter cardstock, and I got this at Hobby Lobby. Everything that you see I got at Hobby Lobby, including this Sizzix Big Shot machine, die cutting machine. Okay, the next thing I'm going to be using is a die cut. Now, in case you're not familiar with the die cuts, these is basically what they look like, and you're going to have the blade on one end and then flat on the other. Okay, and I cut out some pieces. Now when you're making an earring, you have to cut out 4 pieces because you need one for the back. So when you're cutting out the pieces so that you don't waste it, put your die cut and cut enough space around each one so that you have a nice die cut, so that you don't waste any of your cardstock. Okay. So the next thing I got were these at Hobby Lobby. It was $2.49 and $3.49, and they were having 40, 50, and 60% off. So I bought quite a few things, of course. And I bought these snowflake stickers. They're glitter and a nice mismatch of color. Mainly silver. You can see some red and green in there. It's really nice. And then these raised snowflake, these raised snowman ones, they're kind of diamondy. They're not just totally flat. That's the back, and that's the back of these. Okay, there's stickers. They have adhesive, but I still recommend that you use some E6000 glue to adhere them, and a toothpick. Okay, so we're going to be using that later. And then what you're going to need is some and then the other thing you're going to need is, so of course, some jewelry working tools like your round nose and your chain nose, and some earring fish hooks, which I got in there, and then some jump rings. I'm not sure, it might be a 6mm with a 4mm attached, or just a 6mm. I haven't decided that part yet. But I'm going to get this out of the way, because what we're going to do right now is we're going to cut some of the cardstock with the die cuts. Everything out of the way. Now when you have this, you have trays. I got a self-healing cutting mat at the dollar store. Dollar Tree actually has them. They're very cheap. Of course, it's $1. And my cat's gonna be meowing because I can't let him in here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, we're working with the silver, and then the snowflakes. So the snowflakes will be for the red, because I don't want to put silver on top of silver. Okay, now the snowmen are going to be on the silver to make it icy, but you could also put them on here too. So you get 6 in here. It's enough to make 3 pairs of earrings, or if you want a couple of pendants or anything you really want to do with that. But anyway, that's going to get out of the way for now. And I'm going to show you how I cut them. So now this is the blade, and I'm going to put it down on the back. Okay, make sure that it's on there. And then I'm going to put it on the tray. I'm going to put the other tray, get 2 of these clear ones. And now I'm going to put it in here. And they do have this to hold. And I'm going to crank it. Now you would only crank it once, but to make sure that it cut through, I'm going to do it a few times. I'm going to go backwards and then forwards. But again, I do that to make sure it is a nice clean cut all the way through. Okay. So then what you do is you take your die cut. Now see, this didn't cut all the way through, but that's okay because look, there, it's nicely perforated. You might have to go through one side and then the other. There it goes, and it popped off, okay? So now as you'll notice, there's 2 holes, but one's perforated. See, it has a blade. But this one on the lower part doesn't have a blade, and it's not going to cut through. That is simply in case this gets wedged in here and you need to pop it out. You take your crafting tool or a toothpick and you poke it out, okay? A lot of these die cuts have them. Sometimes they're bigger and smaller, but they're not going to perforate anything because they do not have a blade. This has the blade, the cutting blade around. Like this is the cutting edge and this is the flat side, okay? So in case you're thinking, oh good, it'll have another hole there so I can hang a bead. No, it won't cut through. See, it'll leave an impression of a hole, but it won't because it's not meant to. It's just simply to pop this out because sometimes they get stuck in the die cut. Okay, so we did one. Now we got to do the other side. So when you're doing opposite sides, you got to put it on the side of the glitter. One will be this side, and then the other will be on the front. So I'm doing the same thing again. And these are very easy crafts to do. I usually do jewelry tutorials for the beginner, but really it's anybody that can do this that wants to make jewelry. Okay, so we're going to put it through the Big Shot Sizzix machine again. So we're putting it through the die cutting machine again, and I, like I said, go forward and backward, but you don't have to do that. I just like to make a clean cut, and I showed you sometimes it cuts clean. See, like this time it's on here. So sometimes it comes right off, and sometimes you need to poke that other hole. Okay, so now I'm going to, I have a little plastic cup so that I can, and there it is. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take the 2 sides and your E6000 glue, and you're going to glue them together like so. But we're not going to do that yet because I have to finish cutting them, and I also have to do the red one. So we're back, and what I have for you now are the cutouts, the front and the back. One on the back, one in the front of the glitter side on each. This is the shape I used. It comes, like I said, in a 30-piece. Comes on a 30-piece set that I got off of Amazon. So I will put the link below for that. So now what I'm going to do is I have to take my E6000 glue, and you can have either a toothpick or a stir stick, whatever you prefer, to spread the glue around, and you only have to put it on one side of that. Okay, so that's the next step. And we're spreading it. And again, you don't need a lot, and you just have to put it on one side, okay? So I'm gonna have that, and then on that one, and you can do 2 at a time. And then what you're gonna do is you're going to, and I apologize for all the loud noises, my husband's working on something out there. And then you're going to line it up with the hole up top. That's where we're going to put the jump ring and then affix our earring fish hook. So you want to give it a good look. Make sure it's all even with the other side. And then kind of just do this. Now you could put something heavy on top of it while it sits. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the other side. So the next step would be putting on these stickers. So what we did was we glued these already. And you know, you can do other shapes. There's other shapes in that 30-piece die cutting set. And again, the link will be below. So I just like this shape. This is the most common shape. It's not too big, it's not too small, and it's the most common shape that people seem to like. So if you're going to make them to give as gifts for the holidays, or you want to wear them yourself, I don't mind if they're bigger or smaller or whatever, but I prefer them so you can see them. But like I said, this is the average size of one of these type shaped pear earrings. Now what I want to do is I want to get my E6000 glue out, okay? Sometimes you have to like roll it up. And I'm going to get a toothpick and a paper towel. And now, because they are stickers and there's adhesive, it's just not going to stay permanently, and you want to make sure that they don't fall off. So what I do is I put a little bit. Now look how good that looks. But I also want to do this, so I may do front and back, and then I'll decide what I want to be the front, and they're so they could be reversible. Okay, so I'm going to get my stickers. So I was thinking of the snowmen on this too, or the snowmen on here. They show up nicely, but then I also love the snowflakes. The snowflakes on here don't show up as much. You see what I mean? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready to put some E6000 glue. Just go like this. Make sure it's everywhere. And then I'm going to be careful about how I'm placing these. Got to make sure they're exactly where you want them to be. So I'm placing them, and then I'm going to clean them after. So I want to make sure they're straight. And if you get a little glue, you can easily clean. That's why I say don't put too much glue, just enough. And I would probably clean them after. So now you want to leave one here so that you can make sure you put them in the same spot. All right. Now they are very sticky, but like I said, I add the glue simply because they're not going to be that sticky. For like 5-10 minutes before it starts to really adhere. So there it is. That's what they're going to look like. But I'm going to let them dry. And then what you can do later is take a Q-tip with some rubbing alcohol or just a damp one and wipe off your fingerprints. Because these are raised like crystal type. And look how cute that's going to look. And you want to make sure it's even. There we go. Now we're going to do the other one. And you want to make sure that they're going the same way and they're at the same area. So I always try to make sure that I have my both earrings next to me. You don't need a lot of glue. And I really wouldn't put a lot of glue on there. And I kind of stand them up, make sure that they're pretty much the same spot. Okay, so then I'm going to give it a push. And now you have this set. So it's really easy. Snowflakes and snowmen. And you could put this on a white background or a pink. I mean, they still show up with silver. I like that. It's icy kind of. I wanted that. And now on this side, once these dry, you could put 2 more snowmen on it. Because look how that looks with the red. I'm just trying to get you to see how the snowmen look on the red. And then you can have green as well, or gold, or like a blue, or a pink. My sister likes pink. I might make her a pair. I'll ask her. She may or may not wear it. I don't know. But that's the idea. So we'll get to the next step once these dry, because you want to make sure they're dry before you put the earring fish hook and your jump rings on, because otherwise these will slide about and then they won't be even. Okay, so I've waited a while. It's been about a half an hour or so, and these aren't going to go anywhere. They've been glued, they've dried. Now, I'm not going to do it, but if you want, you could do it double-sided. You could put another snowman or a snowflake on the back, and you could put a snowman on the back and have whatever you want, or 2 snowflakes. I'm just going to leave it like that, but that's an option. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my jump rings and my earring fish hooks and my jewelry working tools. My round nose and chain nose. And this is the last and final step. And you can just make some fun holiday earrings. And then I have 2 6mm and 2 4mm jump rings. And that's all I'm going to use for this project. So I'm going to be opening my 6mm jump ring. And I'm also going to add my little 4mm jump ring to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this through. That it's closed. Usually you hear a click. So now I'm going to get the earring fish hook. And I'm going to make sure that the back is facing and there's one. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the other one, and then these 2. And then you're going to repeat that process for the next 2 earrings. So here they are. They're fun. And they're very simple to make. So here we go. We're finished. We've got these nice holiday earrings, and they're going to look really nice on. It's fast, easy, and affordable. And again, even if you don't have a die cutting machine with die cuts, you can simply print out a cutting shape of these. You just put earring cutouts, and you go to Pinterest and you type that in the search, and you'll get templates for earrings. And then all you do is print it out and trace it onto some thin cardboard and cut it out, and then you have templates that you can save and of different sizes, so you can have the shape. And then if you're good, you just trace it onto the cardstock or the vinyl glitter and cut it out. And remember, don't forget to get the back of these. So there it is, a simple, fast, and affordable craft for the holidays. Enjoy making these with your children. If they want to give gifts and it's affordable, you can pick up the stuff, they can do it, they can give it to their friends, they can have gifts to bring to other people, and You could do them as a family. It's really fun, easy, and affordable. And like I said, you don't have to be an expert at making jewelry to have some fun and make these fun holiday earrings. You could also make a pendant using the same things. So thanks for watching. Happy holidays, and I'll see you in my videos. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment if you have any questions about this craft or to say hello. Goodbye.